Hello everyone and welcome to the Pitskill.io Porsche Cup and BMW M2 Multiclass. We are here returning to Italy once again this season at Imola, and we're here for the final round. The cars take to track for qualifying. Those of you unfamiliar with the format, it will be the Porsche Cups taken to the track first. The first 10 minutes of qualifying as our championship leader Johan Leff wanted to get to the front of the field. I'm not sure if he was allowed past there by Balazs. Perhaps recognising he's got a faster car behind it and doesn't want to hold up the field. And as such, we will jump on board with our championship leader, and I believe now with an unassailable championship lead, Johan Leff. Going to be treating this one as a little bit of a victory parade in this final round. We'll jump on board with him as he takes us around this flying lap of the Imola circuit. We'll be on the brakes for the first chicane. Just soaring at the wheel a little bit, keeping the rear, well, actually more than a little bit there on the exit of the second chicane. I'm in late apex on the hairpin, all the curb on the exit, and a lot smoother on the exit there. It's got the rear tamed now. And cresting the hill, you see a bit of the curb, avoiding the yellow sausages. Keeping it within track limits as we head down towards Acqua Minerale. Tough corner in any car, especially tough in these Porsche Cup cars with minimal ABS and engine way out over the back into the Variante Alta. Cutting two apex curbs nicely, a little bit of loss of traction on the exit of the chicane. There's some time to be gained for sure in the next laps. Braking just before the 50 braking board. To the final two corners. And foot to the floor. As he comes down towards the line. And we'll get to see our first representative lap of the session from Leff. And it is a 1:42.897. Some 2 seconds faster than Balazs here, and closest driver so far is Matthew Parry. Matthew Parry sporting the newly available Welsh flag at Pitskill.io. And just within 3.5 tenths of Leff, finding some pace on this lap. And so far we have times from 11 drivers out there. Next set of time will be Luke Tranmer, who crosses the line with a 1:44.0. So lots of time to find for plenty of people out there. As we've got yellow flags out for Balazs. I'm not sure if he was just moving out of the way there. There's well, not the most surprising place to lose it on this circuit, but usually someone loses it around there, they end up in the wall. So Balazs still pointing in the right direction, suggests he was just letting someone past. As with just one corner remaining to go, we can see, will we have a new driver on the top of the timing tower? There's Matthew Parry getting a little bit of a distant tow from Sam McCarthy ahead, crosses the line with a 1:42.795, beating Johan Leff by just over a tenth of a second. taking provisional pole position as we have just 4 minutes remaining of the Porsche Cup qualifying for our BMW M2s take to the circuit for their qualifying session. It would be remiss of me not to check in with our series sponsor, Chris SimQuips Wright, running yet another livery. Is this going back to his roots? The old just pale blue livery? Either way, currently sitting down in P12, some 3.2 seconds off the pace. Not finding very much on this lap and taking a whole lot of apex curb there and a whole lot of gravel on the exit. Won't be a fast lap from just right this time around, and running out of time to set one. As we are seeing improvements up and down the field from a number of drivers. Sam McCarthy, who we briefly saw earlier, ahead of Matthew Parry, giving him that little bit of a pull along. Now hoping to improve on his 1 minute 44.17. That's the short dash to the line. And it's an improvement. And this has got within a second of Matthew Parry. A good improvement there by Sam McCarthy. And another similar looking improvement coming from John Sawyer very soon. Looks like he gets a little bit of a slide coming out of the final corner. That is going to cost him on the run down towards the start finish line. As John Sawyer crosses the line. A 1 minute 43.5, and that is enough for P4 for now. Setting the timing boards ablaze right now, looking to get himself up into the top 3 is Luke Tranmer with just 2 corners to go. He's got a car just ahead of him, but shouldn't provide too much of a distraction. He comes around the final corner of the circuit. Comes down now to cross the line, and that is a 1 minute 43.2, good enough to put Luke Tranmer into P3 at the moment. And with just over a minute remaining, some of these drivers now crossing the line, going on to their final laps of the session. As we now have laps from almost all of our Porsche Cup drivers, just Karim and Denka yet to set a lap time. As Balashve coming through final corner now. He's getting a little bit of a slipstream from Matthew Parry ahead. Some 1.9 seconds off the pace at the moment, improves by almost half a second, only to move up 1 position. P7 for Fahir at the moment, 143.927. As Johan Leff has retaken the top spot in this qualifying session on a 142.487, in 3/10 clear of Parry, who is just behind on the circuit now, trying to improve his lap time. There's the top 3 drivers all pushing on at the moment. It's looking like Luke Tranmer will be one of the first drivers to cross the line at the end of the Porsche Cup qualifying. As he crosses the line, improves up to P3, doesn't improve up to P3, remains at P3, just 0.02 of a second off of Matthew Parry. Parry, who's looking to improve now. Oh, is that running wide? No, manages to keep it within track limits, but I think had to catch the car a little bit. And that's cost him. It has got to find 0.3 of a second to be able to challenge Johan Leff. I don't think that's going to be possible for Parry as he comes around and exits the final corner now. Oh, and a big chunk of curb on the final corner puts paid to that lap. And Matthew Parry now turning to the pit lane. As we've got two cars now rounding the final corner. Florent de Moor, who is finding a little bit of time, looking to challenge Balazs Fahey. Dashes to the line, not quite enough, improves in time but not position. Same not to be said though for John Sawyer, who improves up to P4 with that final lap, 143.142, and will be starting on the second row of the grid for tonight's race. As our Porsche Cups take to the track, and as we said with Johan Leff already having taken the championship in the Porsche Cups, same for Andy Hudson in the M2s, and Andy Hudson wanting to show that fact with his champion's livery. Nice shiny gold cups. And well, this will be a bit of a victory parade tonight for Andy Hudson. But out first on the track is the number 68 car, and we will go on board with Alex Levinson as he shows us just how much these BMW M2s can abuse these curbs here around Imola. Looking almost sedate as he went through Tamburella, eating as much sausage curb as he likes. Worth pointing out that these opening laps from the M2s are not going to be necessarily very representative. It does take them a little while to get their tyres up to temperature. We should see those lap times humble throughout this qualifying session, these remaining 7 minutes, as Alex Levinson there braking a little bit on the grass and getting one hell of a tank slapper, and I think that has just sent him wide of track limits, so we'll be aborting this lap. And next up on track is Roland Schricker, who has also invalidated his lap. So it is our championship leader, or our already crowned champion, Andy Hudson, who will be the first driver to complete a valid lap of the Imola circuit in the M2 class. Getting a nice slipstream from Schricker ahead as they come down into the final two corners. Actually, where is Schricker? Did Schricker completely drop off? Yes, I think he has. Dropped behind. As Hudson crosses the line, that is a 1:56.415. That lap time about 14 seconds off of our fastest in the Porsche Cup class. Really showing the pace difference between these two cars. As Riva Molina with a 1:58.515 is going to have plenty of time to find in that car. We've got a sizable number of C-Class drivers out there carrying the rookie badge. As Mullenstein going down towards the final two corners. Will be the next to set a valid lap time as he comes down to cross the start finish line. A 20.235, some 4 seconds off of Andy Hudson. And we rotate round again, it will be Alex Levinson getting followed very closely behind by Andy Hudson. And Hudson now getting a very good toe down at the start, finish straight. As Levinson sets a 1:57.497. That puts him about 2.2 seconds behind Andy Hudson. And I'm not sure, was he letting Hudson go there, or did Hudson make a dive up the inside? Hard to say from that angle. As Levinson slows the car, building up a gap. Now Roland Schricker, who is P3 in the BMW M2 class, the 1:57.590. So a couple of yellow flags out there for Lorenzo and Craig Douglas. And returning to the BMWs, having participated in a couple of the previous rounds, is Kevin Nordy in the Golf Iron Brew liveried car. And, wow, a very rapid lap for the returning driver. Putting himself at P2 in class at the moment. Still 9/10 off of Andy Hudson. That is the driver who has gotten closest so far. And we'll get another couple of attempts at a flying lap before this session is done and dusted. There's Roland Schricker. One corner to navigate. And whoa, puts the wheel out onto the gravel. That is going to cost him on this lap. It was looking like a good improvement from Schricker before that moment. We'll just have a couple more attempts at a flying lap. Crossing the line with just over 2 minutes remaining, and with 1:57 for a hot lap here. As long as he doesn't have too big a mistake, should have time for 2 more flyers. Try and take that pole position away from Andy Hudson. But even with that moment, Schricker able to get in front of Nordy by 0.02 of a second. The battle for P2 is certainly on. As Nordy improving further. Although, ominously for the rest of this grid, another driver who is also improving further, Andy Hudson. Only 0.3 of a second up on his previous best. Nordy rounds the final corner. A little bit tentative with the exit curb there. Could potentially use a bit more of the track, gain a little bit more pace. As he comes down towards the start-finish line. That is a 1:56.907. Only the second driver to get into the 56s after Andy Hudson. And retakes P2. Both Andy Hudson and Roland Schricker improving on their current laps. Schricker comes through the second to last corner. This is the corner where we saw the sizable mistake from Schricker, so if he keeps that tidy, which he has done, should be gaining as we come down towards start finish line. As Andy Hudson has invalidated on that lap, so those improvements will not be banked. And Roland Schricker crosses the line to retake P2 and is now just 1/10 of a second behind Andy Hudson. All to play for here in this final lap, and Roland Schricker, close behind Andy Hudson, will benefit from a slight tow. As a couple of drivers behind have set their final laps of the session. Marco Lorenzon coming to cross the line. Moves up a position to P5 in class. With Ryan Craig Douglas just behind will be the next to cross the line, and looking to jump ahead of Cheppel, not quite, just off by 0.06 of a second, will remain P30 overall. as Harold Kackelmeyer crosses the line and stays P31. As Andy Hudson and Nordy returning to the pit lane. Chance here potentially for Alex Levinson. Take P3 or maybe even P2 away from the drivers ahead of him. Needs to find a substantial amount of time on this lap. Taking every little bit of the apex curbs. And just 2 corners remaining. What can Alex Levinson make the remainder of this lap? Chucks it in to final sequence of corners. Exit from the final corner, all important. The last dash towards the line. Will this be enough to wrestle the position away from Nordy ahead? Going to be close. In the end, not quite enough. Off by just under 1/10 of a second. And that is our grid for tonight's race. Lineup in the Porsche Cup class will be led away by Johan Leff, followed by Matthew Parry and Luke Tranmer. And in the TCX BMW M2 class will be Andy Hudson, Roland Stricker and Kevin Nordy. Just wait a couple of minutes as our drivers line themselves up on the grid. We will have a 30-minute sprint race for you tonight. No need for any pit stops, no tyre changes, no refueling, just a straightforward dash from lights to flag. So definitely going to be an interesting race. And the drivers will certainly be going flat out for this final race of the season. And as is custom, let's return to track and take you through our starting order for tonight's race. On pole position overall and leader of the Porsche Cup class, and our already crowned champion is Johan Leff. Starting alongside him will be Matthew Parry. P3, Luke Tranmer. He'll be starting alongside John Sawyer. And P5 is Robert Weibeck. Starting alongside Sam McCarthy in P6. Lars Fahey in the Outrun liveried car. Be starting in P7 alongside Florent de Moor. Next row of the grid is we have got Bock and Wright. Starting P10 tonight. Can he move up from that position? He's a driver of mixed fortunes, is Wright. He's certainly susceptible to the commentator's curse, which we will endeavour to keep away from him, but does provide its entertainment sometimes. In P11 is Klinger, who will be starting alongside King. And then, just to add confusion for our commentary job, we've got Flax also in for his Outrun livery. He will be starting alongside the Linux liveried Nitro. In P15 is Lang, alongside Liedness. In P18 is Denker. He will be starting alongside Kareem. And then dropping down the order strangely is Swingley, who will need to get himself back up to position. He will not be starting in amongst the BMW M2s. As in P20 and at the head of our BMW M2 class, and I think that sporting on the side of his livery a little bit of a message from the livery creator, Alex Levinson, but Andy Hudson, our championship winner in the BMW M2s, out for his victory parade. He's starting alongside, well actually we'll be starting ahead of, due to the way the grid will be made up, he's starting ahead of Roland Schricker and Kevin Nordy. And that's where the grid will be Levinson and Lorenzon. In P25 is Molnar starting alongside. Will he be starting alongside Swingley? That will be unfortunate for Swingley if he's starting all the way down there. In P27 is Chappelle. Oh, with Mollenstein in the pits. And in 29 we've got Craig Douglas with Vitusa in 30, Lawrence in 31, and rounding out the grid is Harold Kakelmeyer. I think some of these are in the wrong order, which is slightly odd, because that's definitely Vitusa. I can see now getting past Kakelmeyer. Well, that is where we are, as we return our attention to the start of the grid. And as Johan Leff brings us down the start-finish straight, it's a long old drive from the last corner to where the green flag will be raised. Wait the lights to go green here at Imola. Waiting, and we are racing, and it's a good start from Johan Leff, managing to keep the lead. We'll have the inside line into Tamburello. Should be easy to hold on to this position as we come down into the first corner, and through we all go as we've got yellow flags out for one of our drivers. Oh wait, no, he's in the pits. Never mind. As we're making it through. In the background, you see people emerging from the first sequence of corners. Johan Leff with a good start, and Luke Tranmer up into P2 in this race, ahead of Matthew Parry. And we do need to ignore our timing tower a little bit, as it's getting itself somewhat confused, bless it. And it is Johan Leff leading the way. We'll go with that now. And we have got close battling up and down the order. And at the front of the BMWs, Roland Schricker having to avoid the ailing Swingley, and it is the pack behind that is racing hard. Nordy alongside Lorenzon, that is, with behind them Molinar and Chappelle side by side. Is we've got another Porsche Cup car round. And back at the top of our race, Johan Leff leading the way ahead of Luke Tranmer and Matthew Parry. There's Luke Tranmer, who is leading this train of cars behind. A good number of them in close proximity to each other. That is the BMW M2 class, which is providing us the closest battle for the lead at the moment, as our top three all within 0.3 of a second of each other as they come down towards Tamburello. The slipstream battle has already started. And Roland Schricker taking a bit too much curb, getting an armful of oversteer, gets passed by Levinson, and Nordy also making his way through up into P3 in class, and being followed through closely behind by Lorenzon as well, as they pick their way through the hairpin. And we emerge Nordy ahead of Schricker, ahead of Lorenzon, and Swingley also trying to make his way back through, looking towards the inside. flying off circuit, but ultimately leaving our BMW class undisturbed. Back at the head of our field, Johan Leff continuing to lead Luke Tranmer and Matthew Parry. It's the battle for the lead of the race as we enter into the third lap. And just behind them, we've got John Sawyer, Sam McCarthy and Robert Weidbeck goes together. And another trio of Fahey in his favourite position, defending from a train. He's only got a small train though, as it's Florent Demore and Chris Wright who are tucked in close behind. And there is emerging now a tight battle for the lead in our TCX class, as Alex Levinson right under the rear wing of Andy Hudson, the diminutive rear wing as it is in these M2 cars. As we go on board with Alex Levinson to admire his creation, that livery on the car of Andy Hudson. As we ascend the hill, still these two separated by just around half a second. And Matthew Parry, I was going to say Matthew Parry has made it up and past Luke Tranmer, but runs wide on the final corner, ends up not only losing the position to Tranmer but Sawyer as well, as we have a change in the top three of this race. It is now Johan Leff leading the way by 3.6 seconds. Behind Luke Tranmer and John Sawyer battling hard, and now followed very closely behind by Matthew Parry, Sam McCarthy and Robert Weidbeck. As you can see, Balashvit here also closing in on this battle. And we have lost Florent Demore from the top 10. I'm not sure what has happened to that driver. We climb the hill. Tranmer, looking a bit more composed now, is beginning to pull a slight gap over John Sawyer. And it is Matthew Parry who is on the attack against John Sawyer. Closing, closing, closing. Being very aggressive with the curbs through Aqua Minerale. Tentative with the exit curb as we climb the hill. And real close battling here in the Porsche Cup field. And this, remember, all over P2 in the race. So podium positions definitely up for grabs for any of this top six. All it takes is a small mistake, as we've seen, and numbers of positions can be lost. Down in the BMW field, it's Kevin Nordy who's leading a pack of cars. This is the battle over P3 in class, as we've got Lorenzo, Molinar and Schricker tucked in closely behind. As our class leaders exit shot, heading their way through Variante Alta. Roland Schricker getting his way past Molinar on a bit of a recovery drive, looking like he sustained some damage there to the front end of his car. I'm seeing plenty of yellow flags out there, for instance, as Cup cars are having to pick their way back through the BMW field, as Lorenzo with the great move up the inside of Nordy, and now Roland Schricker. You can't really get much more of a slipstream from the car ahead, Nordic using Lorenzo to defend. They're not going to try and go free wide into the first corner, are they? That would be an interesting decision, to put it mildly. But they stay as they were. Through Amberella. As Black's looking to pick his way through. Needs to be careful, can't just dive up on the inside on some of these corners. No matter how much more grip and power he has underneath him. As Flax looking to get aggressive with the BMWs, and this could end messily. The Porsche Cup car should have plenty of pace just to power on through up the hill and be out of these guys' hair and leave them to their battles. Turning to the Porsches, where Luke Tram trails Johan Leff by 4.2 seconds. Close in behind them, there is John Sawyer and Matthew Parry. This is the battle over P2 in the race. As they're starting to pick their way through some of the rear of the BMW M2 field. This is the point in the race where things start to get interesting. There's Roland Schricker dropping back again. What happened to Roland Schricker? They were much further up. Oh, just moving well out of the way and just letting a number of cars past. Okay. Roland Schricker not having the best of races. Not sure what happened there. Not sure if they've underfueled or something weird has happened there for Schricker. As we return our attention back to the head of this class, and Andy Hudson leading Alex Levinson. As we climb the hill, Andy Hudson looking like he's at least got the advantage in some of the track. We're going to have to see how these two start to deal with Porsche Cup traffic, which is slowly but surely catching up to this battle. First to meet them will, of course, be our race leader, Johan Leff, who's now just about half a sector behind this battle. Oh, also Nordi incredibly far down the order as well. And I can see something on my... Okay, this is going to be interesting. So this, I think, is why Schricker was waiting. Oh, just... Okay. That explains a lot. Okay, that explains why Schricker was waiting. Schricker turning around the car of Nordi, and that explains the considerable damage to the front of his car. Apologies that we missed that the first time around. Nordi not having the best of luck on his return to BTX cars. As John Sawyer being chased by Matthew Parry and Sam McCarthy. Sam McCarthy, who should have a good run here on Matthew Parry, well in the slipstream. Will he look to the inside into Tamburello? Not close enough. Go for a lunge at this point. Will sit in behind, try and pick up a slipstream again. And now this is the hairy moments in the race, as Cup field is catching the BMWs, and you don't want to catch the slower class at the wrong part of the track. As this is where opportunities get created. And we also have a back marking Porsche Cup thrown into the mix, just to add a little bit of spice to this battle. Matthew Parry. Moving his way forward, picking his way through. You see Luke Trammer there navigating around Swingley. Swingley who takes the bouncy line through the Variante Alta. As that is Marco Lorenzo, the head of that BMW battle ahead. Oh, and John Sawyer opting to go right up the inside there of Lorenzo. Good awareness from Lorenzo, leaving the apex free. As this group continues to battle. And now, race leader Johan Leff has made it past our BMW leaders. And I'm not sure how aware they are that they've got the entire pack of BMWs approaching them. And there's not much separating the rest of them. First up will be Luke Trammer as Alex Levinson looks to the inside of Andy Hudson. Doesn't get enough of an overlap to go for an attack into the first or the second chicane. Looking to set up this battle. As now Cup cars not far behind. First up, Luke Trammer should be able to just storm his way through up the hill. And this is where we see the interaction of multiple battles as John Sawyer, Matthew Parry and Sam McCarthy, separated by less than a second, and want to keep the intensity of their battle as both Andy Hudson and Alex Levinson run wide. And well, they get very fortunate that the faster cars of class catch them at a not too bad part of the track. Sam McCarthy there taking a bit too much curb running himself and having to bounce up over the curb, staying out of the way of Andy Hudson, not interrupting this battle for the lead in this class. A lot going on for these drivers, having to be aware not only of the drivers they're racing against, but also the traffic that they're letting through. As now Sam McCarthy has dropped off of the back of Matthew Parry. And now Matthew Parry free to go and attack John Sawyer. As we come into the hairpin. Matthew Parry right close up behind John Sawyer. And behind these, after his incident over the curb at the Variante Alta, Sam McCarthy being close, was being chased very closely by Robert Weidbeck. Close battling up and down the field now as Andy Hudson, there's a little bit of a report in from the BMW field, has managed to get himself clear of Alex Levinson. That gap now at over a second and starting to extend outwards. It's a good run out of the final corner for Robert Weidbeck in the slipstream of Sam McCarthy. They come down this long start-finish straight. Initially, there is a couple of corners in here, but really, we all know this is flat out from final corner all the way down to Tamburello. As we've got yellow flags out for Harold Kackelmeyer, sitting out on the grass. Not getting in anyone's way out there, carrying a lot of damage to the front of that car. As the gap between McCarthy and Weidbeck opens up slightly, turn our attention to John Sawyer and Matthew Parry. This is the battle over P3 in the race. As Parry close in behind John Sawyer. It's a tricky track to try and get a move made on another driver. You have to follow closely and wait for a mistake, and John Sawyer running slightly wide through the Acqua Minerale. Not enough of a mistake to allow Matthew Parry to get by, but he's certainly very close at the moment. And behind there we did see the battle between McCarthy and Weidbeck as well. Those two equally close together. Johan Leff looks like he's checked out at the front of the field. Some 7.5 seconds clear of Luke Tranmere now. That gap been opening up all race, really showing the pace that he's got in these Porsche Cup cars. Only really been seeing challenges from Reece Tattersall, our reigning champion. And as the cars pick their way through more BMW traffic, again, opportunities may present themselves here. Mistakes easy to make when you're in amongst the slower cast of cars. John Sawyer and Matthew Parry climb up towards the Variante Alta, hopping over the apex curbs and down towards the final two corners. It's the 1-2-4 car of Melenstein up ahead as they quickly dispatch that and get underway again. Matthew Parry has been able to get this close through this start finish straight before. But I think with these cars running so little wing and having so little drag, it's not the easiest of opportunities to try and get a slipstream and find a way past. As well, Matthew Parry, I think, just pushing a little bit too hard there, dips a couple of wheels out onto the dirt. Doesn't seem to have lost him too much in terms of pace, but just showing how hard he is having to push. And as these two approach the car of Nordi, the BMW driver not having the best of races out there tonight. And carrying quite considerable damage to the front of that car. This remains our closest battle out on track. Matthew Parry and John Sawyer providing all the action for us tonight. And that's over the final podium position. And with just over 7 minutes remaining in this race, still plenty of opportunity for Parry to find a way through, but does look like he requires a small mistake from Sawyer, which I think we may have just seen as John Sawyer now having to go defensive on Parry. The Parry have the pace, carry the speed through on the outside, and he does, takes the inside for the second part of the chicane. and Matthew Parry up into P3 in this race. And now this battle is done. We have got battle recommencing between Andy Hudson and Alex Levinson. This is now within second, 0.6 seconds of Andy Hudson. We come up to Tamburello. And we have got yet again more Porsche Cups looking to get involved in this battle, looking to disrupt things. And so far, Andy Hudson has led every lap of this race. Alex Levinson now, though, 0.3 seconds behind this battle, extremely close, as Nitro makes his way through. We have Swingley as well, close in behind. Oh, and this could disrupt Andy Hudson through the Aqua Minerale, as Hudson having to get out of the way, avoiding the slightly out of control Swingley as he bounces his way over the grass. Thankfully for Hudson, Swingley now far enough ahead that he shouldn't be too disruptive going through the Variante Outer. But I think this is more stress than Andy Hudson would ideally want at this point in the race. With out of control Porsche Cup cars inserting themselves into this battle. As we have got battle here between Lang and Nitro, with Lang looking up the inside. Both of these cars looking like they've been through the wars. I'm not sure if anyone gave them the memo that this is meant to be a non-contact sport, but both of them sharing a good number of scuffs to the paintwork. We also have battle between Martin and Kareem over P14. Martin getting a little bit out of control there on the rear, and Kareem looking for a gap, looking for a way past. Martin not using all of the track, and we're starting to see a few more battles up and down the field, as after being passed by Matthew Parry, John Sawyer now finds himself under threat from Sam McCarthy. As they now find themselves again approaching onto the back of the BMW M2 field. Plenty still good change here as we enter into the final 3 minutes of this race, and John Sawyer there really not able to find a way past the BMW of Kakelmeyer. And as they come into the Variante Outer, again catching one of the TCX class at just the wrong moment. But thankfully for him, at least Sam McCarthy not able to take advantage of it. Not able to pick his own way through, and stays in behind as John Sawyer holds on to P4 in this race. As down with the BMWs, Andy Hudson still has a battle on his hands for the lead of this race, as our race leader Johan Leff picking his way also past a back marker. They go 3 wide into the second chicane, and door-to-door contact there between our BMW race leader And I believe that is the 544 car. That is, what is that? Is that 944? Is that Kareem? I think that might be Kareem. Yes, that is also Martin making their way through as well. So yeah, that was Kareem and Andy Hudson with a little bit of door-to-door contact there. And Andy Hudson has definitely had to fight for the win in this race. And maybe a little bit too literally than what he was hoping for. As Lang has made his way past Nitro up into P12 in this race. Both of these the walking wounded at the moment. And we'll keep with this battle between Hudson and Levinson as they both run wide through the second to last corner. Looked like just a little bit too much target fixation there from Alex Levinson. Had an opportunity there, but in the end followed his competitor off the racetrack, neither gaining an advantage from that, as Matthew Parry now looking to pick his way past this pair of cars. They go three wide into Tamburella, and Alex Levinson, close as he's been this whole race, and there's contact between the two of them, and Alex Levinson is around and off the circuit as looks like Sam McCarthy having a sympathy off track along with him. And well, there's a whole lot that has gone on there. Ooh, that helicam is not useful. So what is, okay, Sam McCarthy just driving himself off the track there by the seams of things. And now Robert Weidbeck looking up the inside and will make the move into the next chicane. Robert Weidbeck up into P5, and Sam McCarthy losing out. Was in that battle with John Sawyer, now dropping back a position. Levinson still in P2 in this race. Such was the gap between that lead battle and Lorenzon in P3. And Sam McCarthy battling his way back past Andy Hudson. And now Sam McCarthy would love to get that position back off of Robert Weidbeck. They're side by side there as we come down the hill. And McCarthy will have the inside line coming into the second to last corner. Will he be able to stay on the track and keep hold of that position? As I thought it would go on to another lap, but I guess I was wrong. Johan Leff has taken the win here at Imola Circuit. He's followed home in P2 by Luke Tranmer and Matthew Parry finishing in P3. And in the BMW M2 class, driver who waited for his competitor, Andy Hudson, as they cross the line P1, 2 and 3 together, is Andy Hudson ahead of Alex Levinson and Marco Lorenzon, rounding out our top three in the BMW class. And there we have it. It's the end of the race and the end of our season here at Pitskill.io in the Porsche Cup and BMW M2 Multiclass. If you would like to get yourself involved in the next season, please do head on over to Pitskill.io. You will have plenty of time to get yourself into some daily races and get yourself that C-Class license required for these Porsche Cup races. There will be, I think, 2 or 3 weeks until the next season starts. So get yourself over there using the referral link in the description below. And yeah, we hope to see you on track. Do remember also to check out the Pitskill.io Twitch and YouTube channels, where Terry Farish, our esteemed founder, will be broadcasting the VIP trophy, the Pitskill.io flagship series, where the GT3 cars will be taking to Imola again. And then, yeah, should be a good end to the season. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've been your host, Roy Weller, and we will return next season. But until then, all that left to do is to check out the highlights for tonight's race. So do enjoy those, and we'll catch you again in the next season. Good night.